There you go. You told her.
It's Stacy, cut it out. Behave yourself. All right.
When have you ever known me to?
Wait, is that my husband's food? Oh Lord. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, guys.
Huh?
Nothing in my teeth. I thought there was something in my teeth. Okay. All right. Now why can't I get this thing off? Come on now. Cancel. Wait. There we go. Really? I don't want none of this. Come on.
There you go.
Why is it giving me a hard time? Go away.
That's funny.
It is. Okay, there we go. Press OK for the recording. Here we
Yeah,
are.
as I say, it asked me the same thing.
Okay, so listen. Technical difficulties will arise when we are working with the computer system. All right, so my name is Calendria Arroyo. This is our I'm Still Here project. This is in honor of Women's History Month. Okay, we have Joseph Arroyo here with us as well. And I am interviewing my girl, Stacy. I'm gonna let her tell where we're from and how we met. But I know we via Richmond right now. And you share with us where you're from, how we met, how did we come across each other's path, and then tell us a little bit about yourself and your recovery process.
Okay. Well, we met through a friend, actually. I was trying to get on your team. That was my goal.
Look, that team still exists, girl, and we looking for team members, child. So
oh, that team still exists, huh?
That team still exists.
Well, I am, and you know what? Now I have background and stuff with that too, because I was a case manager supervisor for community services. So
oh yeah, we definitely need you on the squad, sis. Yes.
I did it for 8 months before I took a position now that I have. But so that's how we met. We met through a mutual friend. God love him. I still miss him. Haven't talked to him in some time. So
was that Will or was that David Rockwell?
That was Jamal.
Oh wow! Oh God! You took me back to what 2000 and.
It was because you know what I'm gonna say. It was probably like.
So it had to be 2018, 17.
It was 17, 18. Yeah, because 2015, 2016. Yes, it was.
That's great, girl. So you knew me in the middle of the hot mess. Oh.
We were all struggling then. We were all struggling then.
Did you see me with the glasses? Look, I had to take a whole stop. Girl.
We were all struggling then. When I met you, I was the single mom I had the 3 boys at home. The girls were gone. So I had the 3 boys at home. I was
working about vicariously living through one another's shenanigans.
Yes, right. And we were, and I had met Jamal at a different job. He was actually my boss.
He was your boss. Yes.
And then I asked him to apply where we were at
in 2017, and you took the training, but we couldn't find you work. Wow, Stacy, take it back, girl. Blast from the past. I don't know why I was thinking you and I was on a board together.
No, we were trying.
My memory shot. that shows you out.
I think we were trying.
No drugs, so what's the excuse? Drugs ain't even my forte. So
life.
What's my excuse? Girl,
the excuse is life at this point.
Girl, speak on it. Speak on trauma. Speak on it.
Yeah.
Speak on it. Incredible, sis. Well, damn, did I make a good impression? Because I swear.
I can't.
I could be a whole asshole, so I'm like, It just
We
depends
did
on
great.
what
I
was
think
it
we
summertime, springtime? When did we meet? If it was the
it
summer, I was a social butterfly. If it was the winter, I don't know what you got.
no, I think it was summertime because
Yes.
I was getting ready to transition out. If I couldn't get a position with you, I was transitioning out.
Got
And
you.
that's what I ended up doing. I transitioned out for 8 months and then I came back into behavioral health. I ended up going back in behavioral health and
I seen that even on your following you. Yes. Yeah.
and then I did that for a couple of years. I transitioned to a state project and I was their
Liaison.
liaison and that was fabulous. I loved it.
Love. Yes, yes, yes. Was it still with the state of Virginia?
No, it was with the state of Missouri.
Yeah, you was a moving little thing, I tell you. You was
But
all over the
I
map.
got to work from home in Virginia. I didn't have to be in the
Nice.
state because
Wonderful.
I was handling all the case follow-ups, their 7 days and all of those things. I was handling those from wherever I was at.
Was that
It
with
was
the
such a
MCO or the
blessing.
CSB?
Huh?
Was that with the managed care organizations or was that with the
Mhm.
community service board? So was you with Anthem or Aetna?
Anthem.
That's the other thing. So that's our correlation as well. When
Right.
did you go back and working with Anthem?
I went back working with them. I left, God, it was 2000. Geez, when did I leave?
It was probably
I went back
2018,
2018,
20.
2019.
Yeah, you came in right behind me.
Yeah, and then
I think they redirected my position and gave it to you. I think you were right behind me. Because me and Jamal met, he took my peer recovery specialist. He took the trainer to trainer with me and Jamal. Then Jamal went his own way. I went my own way. And then in the state of Virginia, when all of us became trainer to trainers, we had to do one free. And you got in contact with me right as my class filled up. That's what happened. Right. And then Jamal was like, well, shoot, I got to take it over too. And so he came and jumped in as well. But I think Jamal came in 2017 is when me and him got together, 18, 19. I don't think Jamal took my training. He took somebody else's training.
See, I don't think because he went in a whole nother direction too.
He did. He was military, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, he wasn't.
Military. I thought he was military.
No, but he went a whole nother direction. He went and got his master's.
In substance abuse. Yeah, I think it was.
No, he did it in claims and healthcare management.
Wow, he left altogether.
So he went a whole different direction.
Yeah. Yeah. And hence a lot of people did because at the time, although the trainings were a plethora, there weren't enough jobs to suffice it. And I knew that was going to happen. And that's why I walked away from a lot of the boards because nobody was listening to me. And I was like, yo, this is cute that you got 22 trainers out there, 3 that are Black, right? And there's no job. So you're telling us we got to have 10 or more people in the classroom and you want us to do it for free and you want us to help them find jobs after the fact and there are no jobs.
And at the time there weren't. That was a beautiful thing when I moved into the state of Missouri. That was what we were working on, that peer recovery specialist again. And
so you got to be there for the grassroots and the ground up.
Right. So if I'm starting at the ground up, let's do it. But then I took a whole nother direction again. I left Virginia. I left
because
Virginia
they make it hard. It's not easy to do these services.
Well, it wasn't even that. I had some things going on. I moved back to Indiana. My family's here. My dad is here. My mom passed, and
God bless. I saw that. That was less than 6 months ago, correct?
No, it's been 4 years. It'll be 4
Wow.
years this June.
Wow.
I remember that because you were there when my grandmother passed away in 20.
Wow. Are you originally from Indiana?
Are you originally from Indiana? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
What
was
part-
born
what
and
part?
raised here, and then I spent 7 years in Charleston, South Carolina,
Wow.
and then 23 years in Virginia.
Wow. What part of Indiana?
Yeah, what part of Indiana are you from?
South Bend. So Notre Dame town.
Wow, beautiful.
So
So, wow. Look, I do these interviews and I purposely don't prepare us because I feel like the generic and the organic, aha moments are what
It's
people
better than your
need,
plain-
right?
plain,
And yeah, you were a huge encouragement to me when I started the content creation piece. I just was on there trying to show people like, listen, gospel music can be fun. You can be a Christian and still have fun. And then, him and I kind of recrossed paths. We grew up together, went to middle school together, went to high school together. I was in a very toxic, demonic relationship, literally. And I don't know the kind of person I was back then. Like, I honestly, when I hear you guys tell me, oh my God, but I did this because of, or oh my goodness, you did it, I don't correlate it. I honestly thank you, right? But on the flip end of it, I was in a zone back then, and I don't know that anybody knew that. I think everybody just knew Calendria to be the bubbly, da 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 da, and I was like, yeah, no, there's nothing bubbly about
you
this
were
shit.
though. You were the encouragement though, because we would have a lot of conversations because we were going through it at different points, but we were hitting some of the same
Some of the
contacts.
same, yes.
And we would be like talking about it, and you'd be encouraging, and how we got through that,
Well, it'll make me cry, girl. Wow.
I don't know. Some days,
You never see
and
it
then
again.
I progressed on, and I did it again, I guess, because I didn't learn my lesson the first time.
Speak on it. Speak on it. It's the double parked and dumped for me. I was double parked and stuck on stupid. You know what I mean? And then my stuck on stupid was, oh my God, he loves me because he wants me back. He said he wants his marriage to work.
All words.
Girl, for within a month, he was back hiding the phone. Within a month, he was back cheating on me. Within a month, like, girl, what was I thinking?
See, I transitioned into another relationship that I thought was going to be healthy, but neither one of us were healthy, right? We hadn't healed from past trauma. So we brought in all that trauma with our kids. And God bless, our kids were older, but there's still a lot there.
Still so much.
Looking back at it now, I know the part I played, and I've reached out to try to bridge that gap with him to make it different. Unfortunately, that's just not something
So let's speak on that. So it's Women's History Month, right? And the dynamic that's different for men, that is very different for women, is that although we go to work, although we want to be a CEO, although we want to be the working mom, we take our children and family with us everywhere. We go, right?
Yes.
So what I want you to speak to is the empty nester situation, because it's different for men. Men can empty nest at 10 years old if they wanted to with children. No, I'm dead ass serious. He knows how to clock out. Like, the kids will be sitting right there in front of us and he's not with me. I'm like, where did you just go? And he's like, I'm in the park, riding down a horse, in a car, in a what? Me, I wake up on 1,000. I wake up thinking, cook,
yes, ma'am,
food, laundry, this, that.
Yes,
he wakes up so empty. He has nothing on his mind. He's like, I don't know what we're doing today. or whatever it is, I'm not ready for it.
No, but okay, so I have to ask you though, because I was with a project manager, right? So I came from the project manager world. He was a project manager, so I figured this is going to work out fabulously
Right. Mhm.
because no,
Nope.
he walked in the door and he could shut it down just like that, like nothing else in the world has happened. We've got kids. His mom was ill with Alzheimer's. Like we had several things going on. That man could sit down on the couch and read a book and act like like the whole house ain't on fire.
Listen, and that's the difference. So what's the question you want to ask? Because I don't even want to jump and be presumptuous. What's the
So
question?
that's the question. How I was not able to. There was also self-medication with him involved, so I wasn't able to live in that, right? I
Let
couldn't.
me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because that's a very good question. Trauma, sis. This is not working because I want it to work, and I'm being as candid and real as I can be. I don't want to be married again. I didn't want, I didn't want to be in a marriage again. In my brain said, that failed, and I'm a Leo. So when I fail at something, it F's with my ego to the 20th power.
But yeah,
I'm successful. This is what I do. Like, I'm a great mother. I'm a great wife. Like, if I failed at it, it must be because I'm not supposed to be nobody's wife. I did it. God knows I did it, and I get a check mark for that. Let's move on, right? So here goes the stuck on stupid, double parked and dumb. Trauma doesn't go away because you're a believer.
right.
Trauma doesn't pack itself up, put it in a box because you went to counseling for 2 years. Trauma exists even in this, and I wasn't traumatized by him. Right. Do we get into arguments? Absolutely. Has he done some shit that I was like, boy, right? But did I
cast iron skillet on the stove?
But did I respond from the trauma effect? Or did I respond because, you understand? And so that's why you couldn't sit in it, because although you thought you were healed, there's a difference between being healed and being delivered. See, deliverance comes when I say to him, first of all, I didn't choose him, he chose me. That's first and foremost. Biblically, that's correct. Scripturally, that's correct. Secondly, he was patient with me when I said, I don't want to be a wife. That's not what I signed up for. Can I just stay your homegirl? Like, can we just stay boyfriend and girlfriend? Okay. And you know what his statement was? I don't do good at being somebody's boyfriend. When he first said that, the shit was cute. It was like, oh my God, I melted, right? It was cute. Then as we got deeper into this shit, I was like, oh, wait a minute. He's really telling me from a alpha male perspective that I don't know how to be a boyfriend. I can be a husband, but I don't know how to be a boyfriend. And that was his nudge on, if you don't want to be a wife, then you got to walk away, because I am looking for a wife. Right? But not the worldly wife. So I don't need the bells and the whistles.
You gotta be without people.
There you go.
And that's what people don't know how to do, is they don't know how to be without
a title.
So
right.
You gotta act like that.
Yeah.
Instead of just, be like that, instead of just wanting something on the wall or something.
Right. And for you, Stacey, you've been through so much trauma. Like we said, we traveled this road a little bit side by side. I got a divorce. My mother passed away. I got a divorce. I was in an abusive relationship. It was like me and you was like, it was weird. And I would always look back, like look and read up on you. And I'm like, is she really we really just simultaneously went through something together. And again,
And the struggle was real.
and the
That
struggle
struggle
was
was
real.
real.
The struggle was real. So what I would say to you is this: find a way to forgive you, right? Because even though we were traumatized, we still did some shit in the midst of that wasn't us. It wasn't in our demeanor. It was our
Right.
response to something. It's like when you're in an abusive relationship and he hits you. You cannot say you're not just as abusive if you hit him back. You understand? So
Yep.
for me, I had to sit in a therapeutic experience to really understand. She asked the question. She said, "Did you hit him back? Did you fight back?" I said, "Absolutely." And she was like, "So what makes what he did to you any different than what you did to him?" Right? So I'm looking at her like, right, drop the mic.
That's hard. Like, that's
You feel
hard.
me?
Action and
Like
reaction
and
is
you
in
know
the
what? My
same
thing, I
boat.
guess, I don't know. I've been we started in couples therapy before I left Virginia, but we started there, but he wasn't engaged in it, right? He wasn't engaged in the process.
Right. It's
So
hard for men, though. It's hard for men. It's hard for men.
it's hard, but I even had a male therapist. Like there were certain things that I tried to, but you know, he's like, well, you just manipulated him because you know how to talk his talk and do his stuff.
But sometimes
Wow.
there's a method. Sometimes there's a method to it. Like I was taught how to be social and how to be a worker and stuff like that from my father. I was taught how to be silent and listen very well from my mother. So a lot of times in the household, if you don't have one or the other one has to make up for what the other's absence is, if that makes sense. You had
It
said something
does, but
earlier.
he didn't
How can
have
a
either.
man, how can the man go in a room and just shut down? Because for some reason, a man is not involved in his emotions. He has emotions, but a man learns to divorce it because he has to be the structurer. The woman is the nourisher. So you were looking like you damn kids, blah blah blah. It looked like he had peace because he had to learn that, but he's still human and something.
And it's eternal.
So and it's eternal.
For us.
It doesn't mean he doesn't. He's nonchalant. It doesn't mean he. You know, it depends where he is. You know what I mean?
And the nonchalantness too is this: we are maternal because the fact that we are the umbilical cord. They were never connected. No. That's the thing. Like when you think about it from a biblical sense, right? They are the injector. Pretty much. Right? You think about a damn turkey, dead ass. Like you think about a turkey, right? We inject it. Yeah. But he really don't be feeling it till we put his ass in the oven, right? It's the same thing. They're the subjector, we are the objector. We're the object, right? And because we're the object and the baser, we're basing not just when you gave how many children you got again? Is it 5 like me?
I've got 5.
Isn't that
Biologically
crazy?
5, and then I've got 2 bonus babies.
You see what I'm saying? That's me. 5 and 2 bonus babies, right? So we incubated those 5. Plus the 2 or 3 that I made have gave up or aborted or whatever I did to the other 3, right? There's still remnants of them living in me. Although they're outside of me and they're grown and we're supposed to be empty nesters, I'm more emotionally attached to my kids now than I was when they was coming up because I had control.
And that's what it is.
You know what though? I think it's different because I think it lands differently now. Like I moved states. All of my kids are still, the boys are still in Virginia. 2 of the 3, and 1 is in North Carolina. So I had to get used to not seeing them every day, not talking to them every day, not being in their presence. And the youngest being, now he's 22. When I left, he was 20. So for his life,
That's my 22-year-old. Say hi.
Oh,
How you doing?
That's my
Hello.
22-year-old.
How you doing?
You leaving out?
No.
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
his life, I mean, I've never known a quiet house, right?
Me
Like I've
neither.
always
Me
had
neither.
kids,
Y'all
I've
got
always
a lot
had,
of
Yeah.
lot of
It's
So-
similarities. It's a lot of
It's
similarities.
funny. It's so
A lot of
amazing how we
similarities.
are
Look, you
5
gotta say
kids.
they're grown.
Yes.
Let them live, right? But you're still their
right,
mom.
okay, but you know what? We go
Yeah.
back to trauma on that though.
Yes.
It's hard
yes.
to let them live when
Especially
you've
if it happened while they was
experienced
here.
trauma.
Mhm.
Your fear is real for them, even though they don't understand it,
Damn.
and they just think it's a control
That's
feature.
great.
It's not.
It's not.
It's your trauma that
But
leads you
here's
to
my
those things.
aha. But here's my aha. Even as he
That's good.
walks through the door and is about to walk out of my doors again. No one really, and I'm going to try to say this without crying because it's happening tomorrow. He's going back. No one really knows what that feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said something so key. Having a house full of children, the noise,
You're used to that.
the idea of I'm coming home from work, but I even though he grown,
There's gonna be some more.
I cooked
Right.
for him. I picked him up. I went and got him from work. I went and got him from football practice, whatever it may be, right? And I have the same inks that they don't live in New York. They live in Virginia. I am not 20 minutes away. I'm not
Right.
30 minutes away. I have an ID special needs son who's the oldest. He's gonna be 30. I got a 26-year-old, a 27-year-old, a 23-year-old, and a 35-year-old. And none of them are earshot of me. This is the first time in this traumatic process that my son has been 2 seconds away from me. He doesn't realize the importance of that. He doesn't realize that having him that close did something to me on the inside. One, that he trusted me. Because when we were in our trauma, the trust was gone. The trust was shot. My children saw me through the eyes of my abuser. That was true. That was real. That still happens to this day without them even realizing they're doing it. So I tell you, from me to you, be okay with the fact that God is everywhere.
It's a learning process.
Yahweh exists everywhere. And there's no way God gave us those kids and we don't have the power of the tongue to say, God, I send my angels, send their angels before them. The Bible says he knew them before he formed them in our belly.
Okay.
Right? So if you stand on the word of God and scripture and stand on your instincts, because see, people think instinct is not the spirit of God. No, if the instinct tells you to get your ass in that car and get to Virginia to go, or get your ass on a plane and go see your kids,
It's part of nature.
that's the nature. Because an elephant doesn't have to be told, lick it until it stands up. A dolphin doesn't come out not knowing how to swim. It inhabits its ability because of where it is. You feel me? So you're a mother. That's all that's needed to do what you're doing.
You can still feel the emotions and
the power is in you.
Of a child you aborted or a child that
you
lost.
Feel me?
You
so
still feel that.
Yeah, that
it's
power.
Scientific,
yeah, that power.
It's a scientific fact that a woman have a child, lose a child, or abort a child, whatever the case may be. They still
have that remnant
because it's in you. It fed off your food. It fed off the blood. It fed off everything you did. The baby had. Oh God. So women tend to, as men as well, but in the area of birth, it's hard because you might carry that to the day you die. You know what I mean? And it's just it's the truth because it's a part of the emotional part of your psyche.
So with you, I'm sorry. So with you being in another state, what tools or what social media or phone or whatever have you used to be able to remain connected? I know there's one or two that it's not as easy, right? But
it's not, but we're getting there. I think.
Good. Have they gone to therapy?
They have not. I continue, right? I continue to go because there were, sometimes we try to heal people so that we can
Mhm.
heal ourselves
They yourself.
because we
But they
think that
might need
that's
it
what's going to
themselves.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah, they might need it themselves.
How's that working out for you?
Girl, didn't work.
Yeah.
Didn't work, didn't work, didn't work.
Yeah.
So,
Because some might be on board when they get an understanding of what it is. Because
So-
because mothers protect their children when they're in this situation.
So how hard has it been for you therapeutically to adjust to that empty
you know,
nesting?
in all honesty, at first it was extremely hard. Like not being able to see them, not being able to talk to them. That everybody wanted to kind of step back and find their own way. So that was no communication.
Hmm.
There was a lot, but also at the same time, as hard as it is to be away from them, so many blessings came
When you
because
have
as they said, and they all agreed when I left that
yes,
that
it's good.
because we talked about it, right? We talked about me leaving and what that looked like. And they all agreed it was time because it was so toxic. The house was toxic. Both of us were in an unhealed space and prior trauma. It just wasn't working.
Wow.
Mm.
So
So
the kids wanted,
your second leave, so your first leave, your first marriage, stop me if I'm wrong, abusive. Then the second marriage was as a result of the trauma or same?
okay, so second marriage, so we had two marriages and a long-term relationship. First marriage out of high school, we were babies, didn't know nothing. We were bad at communication. We were abusive to each other. That didn't work.
Period. Right.
Second
Way to be
second
honest.
marriage, he taught me how to love, but he loved everyone. So that had to stop too,
Sound like
right?
he went to the same school of thought as my Patterson, New Jersey person.
He had love for everybody.
He had
huh?
love for everybody.
He had love, yeah, he had love for
You know?
everybody. So then this last long-term relationship, I, we met through the kids. He knew the kids before he knew me.
Wow.
We blended a family. It was good,
Wow.
but it wasn't good at the same time. Both of us had a lot of trauma, and I was okay with working on his trauma. Let's talk about that. I was okay with tossing out all that trauma, but
Come on, sis.
not
Speak
owning
on
my
it.
own. I think I fell short on owning my own. And then, my mom passed. My dad was still here, and I felt the need to be here.
Wow.
And I was
Wow.
traveling back and forth, and we were fighting about that travel, right? And no, this is my father, this is my life.
Yeah.
My family is here. My
Yeah.
kids, I would want them to come with me, but they're now all adults. They can make their choice, but I need to be here. Like I need to be here. And the kids took
So
that.
you made a grown woman Stacy choice. You made a self-preservation choice.
I
And
did.
recovery will tell you that self-preservation is selfish.
Yeah.
What we're taught, which is wrong, and I'm working on a new version of a peer specialist training, because what I found is that both trainings, whether it was the New York one, the Virginia one, it was watered down. It was very much watered down, and it's not culturally sensitive. It's not culturally sensitive to the minority community. It's not culturally sensitive to the LGBTQ community. And it's definitely not culturally sensitive to individuals that don't financially have the funds to pay for therapy.
Pretty much.
And that's what, that is such a hard thing. I'm very blessed that the therapist that I got when I was with Anthem, I acquired him during COVID, right? I acquired him during COVID so I could do telehealth.
Right.
Never had to go to I've been with him now for almost 4 years now. Never seen a man a day in my life. Like, honestly, I talk on the phone to him, but it's unfair that that is not available to everybody.
Because the
It is.
disparity is real, and it's across all medical stuff. It's not just mental health, especially behavior health, but it's not just, you know.
No, it's not, because when I
No.
didn't have insurance, well, I posted just the other day about my coma. That was a whole thing, right? Um, it's been
So
five
talk to me
years.
about some of the medical things that you've had to endure, because the last time we spoke, we were going to do the domestic violence awareness thing, and you was like, "No, sis, I gotta wait. I got a lot going on." So talk to me about some, not just the behavioral health stuff, but share with us some of the diagnoses that we
Well,
are
I when
surviving right now.
I left Anthem, and I took a break, right? Because I was project managing and claims and IT, and then I needed a break. My hours were long, things were just, so I took a break. In the process of taking that break, I had kidney stones,
Mm.
and I no
Mm.
longer had
Let's talk about
insurance,
things.
right?
I was just telling him the same thing, and I think I might. Yeah, go ahead. Wow.
So I didn't have insurance. So they waited. The stone was in there and it was moving around. They put in stents, but they waited until I got approval from the state to get state insurance.
Mm.
So then we were already infected. There was a whole process that we had to go through, right? And then the first surgery I coded, and boom, I was fine. Second surgery, um, everything went fine.
Wow.
Then the third surgery, it was a touch and go, but cool. Fourth one. Now keep in mind, this is over like a
Surgery, sis.
5-month time span.
Jesus
And I
Christ.
have fibromyalgia, I have other underliers, so my body is tired.
Absolutely.
So
it's remedy. There's a certain
I went
limits. Yeah. Wow.
I went in for the last one, and I posted the other day, it's been 5 years. I went in for the last one, and I woke up 5 days later
Wow.
Jesus
from a
Christ.
simple
Simple
surgery.
surgery. Wow.
It was lithotripsy. They were breaking it up, but because it was so large, they had to hit it several times. Like, it wasn't like a one and done kind of thing. So
And
then I woke up.
how supportive was family members and things? Was that something that you went through alone? Because I kind of felt that, like, when you and I talked via email, we didn't talk face to face or on live or anything. I just felt, because it was something that I was talking about a year ago when him and I were going through our transition, and you were like, "Girl, you speaking to me," and that's when I was at the water. Remember the videos that
Yep.
I was doing facing the water, and God was just dealing with me on how manipulative I could be, how I created these behaviors as a result of my domestic violence, and I moved thinking that that was the right way to move, or that was a loving way to move, and it wasn't. It was a survival mechanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my therapist right now is no joke. She gives me homework assignments. She is like DBT trained, dialectical behavior therapy. Like, she's no joke. But she also gut checks me.
Exactly.
You
And that's
know,
why I kept mine.
and makes me think, like, sis, when do you make it about your behavior, you and what you do and how you respond and how you move? Because all I hear you saying is the kids this, the kids that, and he did this and he did that, and they did it. Did you cry about your cancer? Did you cry about you having stage 4 cancer? Have you shed tears for you? Because I hear you shedding tears for Zion and the kids and this, but did you shed tears for you? And it's the gut check for me.
Right.
And it's
And
like,
the,
wow.
and God is good. I have the same gut check, right? He, because we've talked about now being out for so long out of the relationship, where my
Yeah.
responsibilities lied,
Right.
where I could have done better, what traumas were triggered, how do I handle them now at this stage in my life?
Right.
So getting through that. But yeah, I have family and support, but I also, and you know this because we both do it, it's not a matter of talking to them about it, right? Because there's some burden in that. There's some burden in that we transfer to them if we talk about it. So it's
Because
not
it's
that they don't
easier to
want
stay
to.
silent. It's the suffer in silence, right? And
Yeah,
most of us that have trauma and domestic violence and sexual abuse and all those things, it's easier to suffer in silence. We're louder about the barks and the protection and the mama bear. We
yes.
loud as shit in that arena. But when it comes to saying, you know what, that hurts, or you know what, that offended me, or you know what, that hurt my feelings, right?
I've gotten
I had
better
to
with
test
that.
those. Yeah, I've had to test those tools out while my son was here. He was here since November. I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer in 2017. Beat
Yeah.
it, but whooped its ass. Did what I had to do in 2019, 2020, right before we went hard into COVID. It came back, and then the doctors flopped, and so now we're at stage 4, where there's so-called nothing they can do about it, right? And who going down without a fight? Who, who, right? But I am not as dismayed as I was in 2021 and 2022. You feel me? I have a lot more grace on myself. I have a lot more. I'm not angry, because I was angry with God. Me and God was not having nice conversations. And then I'm finally at peace. At peace. And that peace doesn't always come at a price, if that makes any sense. Sometimes it just is. And the love of God just is. The peace that surpasses all understanding. It just is. He who dwells in the shelter place of the Most High shall rest under the shadow of the Almighty. And I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, and the God I will trust. Right? Those are not just words in a book that somebody made. It is scripture.
Right.
Right? And so we're gonna have to do a part 2, girl, because I want I want to have a group conversation with some women about that whole empty nester syndrome. Like, that is real. And then it simultaneously happens with menopause. That is real.
Girl,
And
that's a
then
whole
on
nother,
top of
that's a whole
that,
nother hot mess.
girl, we need a whole support group.
We do. We
And
do.
it's going to be called Mothers Over Madness, because I feel like I'm going crazy, girl. Like cuckoo for Cocoa Puff. 1 minute I'm hot, the next minute I'm cold. 1 minute I'm loving, the next minute I hate them. 1 minute I love them, the next minute. Girl, I don't know whether I'm coming or going.
And I feel okay with it though. I just be like, all right.
Yeah, he's so
She's
funny.
going through it. She's going through it.
I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now. Yesterday,
it's none of my business.
I know, right? I took my penicillin and I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I got a fever, and I don't know if this is menopause or if this is. The doctor was like, no, you got strep throat, sis. Like, go to bed. And I was like, oh, that's all.
She said, I got a fever and my blood's high.
In addition,
you got a fever because your ass is high.
In addition to
So you don't even realize when you're sick. When you're going through menopause, you don't even realize when you're sick.
Girl, because you're that all the time.
Hot and cold.
I just went through that a couple weeks ago. I just came out. I was in the hospital for a couple of days because I had a kidney infection that I let go. Like I let it go too
I let
far.
it go. I just didn't know.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. We're gonna have to do a part 2 because you are dope. You are so dope. I knew you was going to be, but you are dope.
But that's what we like organic.
Yeah, we do.
When you come across, like I know somebody, because the human experience, everybody goes through it, but they go through differently because they're male or female. It's different, but it's synonymous to emotional. Da da da. Some people show it more. Some people wear it on their sleeve.
Yeah.
But it's still an experience of the soul. You know what I mean?
So share with me before we get into like the ending of this. What is your nationality? Because I've been trying to guess it for like 3 years now.
So
And
there
I
is
really wanna
a
know
melting
if I'm right
pot.
or not. I have to know if I'm right or not. She's Greek. She's
Okay, so
Greek.
there's
I
a
knew
melting
it.
pot. The last name Delgado throws off everybody.
It
My
does because it's giving off Mexicana.
It's in Spanish.
right. Um that was my ex-husband. That
Got it.
but his family and I, we're all still close. The kids, everybody is good like that.
Right.
So but I'm Polish, Irish, Hungarian. You keep going down the pipeline
Not
there.
Hungarian. I've been meeting some Polish and Hungarian folks for a while now. I don't know what that is. That and
Hungarian. That's
and
different.
no.
I would never have guessed that.
Me neither.
Maybe Polish, maybe Greek,
And
maybe
Irish? Did you say Irish?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. That's the fire in you. That's the
You
fire.
know what? That's
in
what
you.
everybody says. That's what everybody
That's
says.
the fire in you. And then there's a fire that is contagious, Stacey. Like, I want you to know that you and a couple of other people that I've been interviewing in the past 2 years are really the reason why I still do what I do. Because it's hard to live my life in front of people, right? Because when I made that commitment in 2017, it was right after my best friend killed herself.
I remember.
And I went on the day of my birthday, August 15th, 2017, literally, and I've not turned back. And you're one of those one that's like, girl, where you been? Girl, we need your morning motivations. Girl, and there's not a lot of y'all that do that. There's not a lot that have access to me. I mean, I've had people to reach out, but people that really, really are saying, no, you need to not stop. It helped me. And even if God only allows 5 people to tell me that, I know that there's another 100 that just don't have the words for me. So if you could share with everyone, why was I a constant? Because you stroll, right? And you stroll and you stroll, and it's inundated now, right? You could go anywhere.
Yeah, it's harder to find stuff now, Lord. I don't know if it's my age that's creeping up on me or what, but it's harder to find stuff now. We were the constant because we connected, we got it. And that inspiration, because we were in that spot together, even though we were at seemingly times it was parallel, crossing over, however, we were there together. And nobody knows what some of those things are like until they've been in those spots.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate enough that we met in those spots so we could be strong for each other. So I knew when you were there and you were being an inspiration, I knew how hard that was, because some days getting up out of bed.
How you inspiring people and you need
And then the inspiration was more like, I don't give a shit what none of y'all think. This is therapy for me. Like, that's honestly what it became eventually. And then as I began to reconnect with my high school sweetheart, then that's when I got bolder. I stopped caring whether somebody liked it. At first, it wasn't about likes. It was about, I needed to tell people my best friend had hurt herself, gone suicide, and then my son's coach jumped off a bridge in Richmond. And I was like, this shit gotta stop. I prayed about that thing and I got on there and I was like, listen, if we don't keep it real about what suicidal thoughts are really about, we're going to lose more people and the numbers are going to be catastrophic. And if I did not profess that, the numbers right now are ridiculous. There have been more Black men in the entire history of statistics to kill themselves and take their children or significant other with them.
That's good.
There have been more women to kill themselves and jump out of buildings and not give a crap about how they were found.
Whether you're known for doing something, I realize now, whether you're known for doing something as a culture or however, it's still there as a human being. So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
When you see Calendria, and I'm sure you'll agree with it, but it's a question. Is it easy? Like she don't have to say much, but it's easy. Like she gets it, I got it, that's all I needed. You know, is it like that? Or was it like that?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes we would just be like, love you. That's it. Like we didn't have to speak about, we already knew at that point it was there. We connected on it.
Yeah.
And the day is gonna be better.
Sometimes you need that tire change.
Yeah.
I'm saying that because I have a mentor in Atlanta and we hardly talk, but when we see each other or talk to each other, we're laughing more than talking.
Yeah.
Because we understand what we've been through and who brought us through it. So my next one for you is, where are you now?
Yes. Yes, because remember the hashtag is I'm still here, right? So are you still here because of God's grace and mercy? Are you still here because you did it on your own? Why are you still here?
You know, I think because I finally, once my kids looked at me and told me I needed to get myself together, right? The mom that they knew
was no longer existed.
Well, it was the trauma mama. Like certain things were triggering me in such ways that it was not coming out the way it should have, right? So once they told me it was time and I got here and I'm with family, I have my dad, it was time. And I grew up here, so I've got friends and everything's here.
You're familiar with it. Yeah.
It was time. It was time to, and plus I was already still in therapy and we had to pivot because he was our couples counselor. And now he became my individual counselor. So there was a huge pivot, but it was a good pivot because he already had all the background. So I didn't have to relive that again.
Right.
I could move forward.
Right.
So I'm still here for God's grace because I firmly believe everything that's happened since I got here, everything, it has slowly,
it's all God's design.
Yeah, it hasn't been missing the kids, missing my friends back in Virginia. I mean, I lived a life there longer than I lived here, right? So, but my family's here, my father's here. Missing the kids, missing my friends, missing all of those things.
Right.
But realizing that I needed to do this, I needed time with my dad, and I'm grateful for every day that I've got. And also, I needed to heal me.
There you go.
Because who I was to everybody was not who I am now.
To yourself, yeah.
That's your deliverance. And stay there, Stacey. That is your deliverance. So if you could go back and talk to Stacey in 2017, give me 3 words you would say to her today. If you're going back, you're a counselor, what happened to her in 2017. What are 3 words you would tell her that you want her never to forget? Because see, now what happened now between now and 2017.
You got this.
But Stacey doesn't know that then. So what would you say to her?
You got this. You got this. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I spent so much time in turmoil of how I was going to do it. I never believed in myself enough to know that I could do it.
So now fast forward, we in 2024. We in Women's History Month. We have arrived. We are mothers. We are grandmothers. We are aunties. We are all those things. So 3 words that embody who you are today. And I'm talking about values. I'm talking about your essence. 3 words to describe who you are today outside of being a survivor. Because as a result of surviving, you became what you are right now.
I would have to say blessed is my top. And then who I am now. I think I've given myself more grace and forgiveness now, and I
Wow.
than I ever have in life. So
So blessed, graceful, and forgiven. You feel forgiven today.
In spite of all the stuff. Because we all go through things, like we was talking about, some things in our life is a thorn. And we have to have that thorn
to remind you.
the grace,
And to
God's
remind
grace is
you.
sufficient.
But I see something else in your eyes though.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do a part 2 on it.
Yeah,
but what I want you to know and what Yahweh wants you to remember is that 1, he knew you before you were formed. Every hair on your head, every tears you cried, every coma / hospitalization. He does not have high blood pressure. He is not confused. He is not dismayed. And he is proud of you. We are, through Christ, the apple of his eye. So whatever your next steps are, sis, please do them in color. You got them butterflies right behind you, right? Do
you
them
know,
in color.
I'm gonna have to send you what my office looks. I'm gonna have to send you pictures of what my office looks like, because when I left case management and went to where I am now, one of my girlfriends gave me blue butterflies because she knows that's my thing. She gave me a bunch of them. And so now they literally cover one whole wall in my office.
The butterfly effect. Let me show you some.
I love butterflies.
So I'm going to be doing a all women's conference. And it's about this book right here.
Oh, The Hungry Caterpillar.
But it's going to be called something else. But when I tell you the colors,
yep,
the steps that it takes to go from this to this to this, the God and the word,
girl. We are taking those steps.
The scripture that God gives me for this is gonna blow your mind. I've been working on this thing for you hear me?
I can't wait.
So I'm gonna bring you on board. We're gonna do this together, because one thing I have learned and I'm learning is that I have a tribe out there, and you just give me chills. I want to thank you for believing in me, believing in my podcast, believing in the content creator piece of me. It's been hard to remain true to myself. It really has been. And God is about to do some things, and I want you a part of it. And I don't know if you started writing yet, but you got a book in you, sis.
I appreciate that. We'll have to talk about that. We will have
to
talk
about that. You got a book
in
you. And even if it's something that you just do to get it out of you, and then read it back to yourself, and then do something with it, But yeah, we're gonna talk more offline, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you for trusting me with your story.
Nice meeting you.
And thank you for trusting me with I'm still here. You're still here.
We're still here and we're killing it. We're gonna keep going.
So send me your shirt size. I'm gonna send you a shirt. I'm also gonna send you some jewelry. Send me what your favorite color is. I have this beautiful, beautiful black pocketbook that I was not going to give away. It's a butterfly.
Oh my word.
Stop playing. Stop playing.
Okay. Okay. It's called Gemma Jewels Boutique. That's a $50 bag. Okay. I don't know. It may end up in your mailbox. Send me your address. And if you want to, you just donate to the cause. Everything that I do goes back into the awareness and the suicide prevention. So go to the website, fill out that form after you watch the video and tell me yes, thumbs up, and then I will repost it and tag you in it.
All right, baby. I am so proud of you. It has been a pleasure. You know I love you. We'll keep doing this.
Oh God, girl, I love you too, sis. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
It was
Bye-bye.
nice to meet you. I will talk to you guys soon.
All right, sweetie. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. God is so good. I love it. I love it.